internet of value at Ripple, we're thinking much bigger than just cross-border payments. It's kind of like Amazon with rare books in the early days, just this market happens to be a $10 trillion market.
We are at a historic turning point.
Said in the past that you are doing for money what email did for communication.
Moving the whole revolution forward.
There's trillions of dollars parked around the world.
XRP.
Is there a possibility that Ripple could take over Swift one day?
Well,
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to home. So, 12 hours script. Let's get right into today's video. We got some crazy information to go over today. We're going to get right into it, not waste any time. Building liquidity hub to meet business needs. This was published today by Ripple. Take a listen to this, folks. And this one's going to completely blow your mind, okay? Get close. At a basic level, managing liquidity means value is available at the right time for the right cost at the right place to meet customers' needs. What sounds straightforward and simple is actually very complex due to a variety of factors. Unpredictability, asset volatility, value can change rapidly, and fragmentation across assets, venues, and connections, okay? And if you guys didn't know, they added new assets. Since launch, we've added support for stablecoins, specifically USDC and USDT, and we'll continue to add additional assets. USDC, you guys already know, Jeremy Lael, the whole Ripple, utilizing them to scale USDC in the future, okay? It has begun. A key component of crypto liquidity is easy on and off ramps that enable value to move from fiat to crypto and vice versa. Events like the banking crisis, which happened earlier this year, underscore the importance of this infrastructure for the whole industry. Folks, and do you guys remember this video about the 2008 financial crisis? Remember, it wasn't about what actually happened. Here's the truth.
October 23rd, 2008, the world was melting down. They call Alan Greenspan out of retirement to go before Congress and explain what is happening. He says this thing that the left has jumped on, not really quite understanding the full picture.
There are additional regulatory changes that this breakdown of the central pillar of competitive markets requires in order to return to stability, particularly in the areas of fraud, settlement, and securitization.
So you may remember there were New Yorker articles about, Alan Greenspan says markets don't work and stuff like this. Yeah, that's the first part of the sentence. The second part, fraud, settlement, and securitization. Fraud was things like Bernie Madoff, securitization, mortgage-backed securities. This settlement thing has been sort of written out of history. 2008 was a settlement crisis. What happened on that Wednesday? Lehman went broke on Sunday. They didn't do anything. It was on Wednesday morning the settlement system froze. That's been written out of history.
And this is what Ripple is pointing out right here. They're pretty much bashing the banks, folks. And to top it all off, in the future, they say, Liquidity Hub will tap into the power of Ripple's global network, combining the power of crypto liquidity and access to global markets. Ripple's global network is one mean mugging looking team, okay? It's not even a team, it's the network, right? But you guys know what I'm trying to say. It's just so big. The people that have on board, like IMF, we're going to get into it in a second, but folks, how can Ripple's adoption, okay, and Ripple's integration into the global markets affect the price of XRP? And it's very simple. It's very simple. 10, 20, 30, 50, $100 is going to be achieved 100% because these companies, these institutions, these entities are going to utilize the most liquid, most efficient asset. That's what it boils down to.
If we think about the opportunity, how we get to beyond the 1 trillion, I would start with private asset space is a $290 trillion market around the world. That's bigger than publicly traded securities. That's things like real estate, private equity, VC. And that's, in our view, one of the killer apps for blockchain because these are operationally intensive assets to issue and manage. They're non-price discoverable, non-transferable, tradable. And when you put those assets natively on chain, you begin to create more liquidity, more tokenization and fractionalization, broader access and availability. of those assets.
And how it's going to affect and influence the price of XRP? Well, here it is. Increased adoption. Oh, well, what do you know? A widespread adoption of XRP in the global market, particularly by financial institutions, can drive up demand for XRP tokens. Increased demand can in turn lead to higher prices, right? Pretty basic. Utility and use cases. The more XRP is used for its intended purposes, such as cross-border payments and liquidity provision, the more valuable it becomes. Utility drives demand, and increased demand can positively impact the price. And we know it's not only just cross-border payments. That's just where one use case is.
And we started the payments. Now we're in custody. We'll continue to expand beyond that.
They're going to expand. It's going to be an enterprise, ladies and gentlemen. Enterprise application of crypto liquidity. Listen to this, right? This is where things this is what they have been doing since inception. This is the most important part of the whole Ripple concept right now. If you just look at it from, forget the price, this is what's going to drive the value of XRP right here. Key considerations when choosing a crypto liquidity provider. To maximize these crypto use cases, companies will need an enterprise level liquidity provider, and they know they are the best. One that can execute real-time trades with minimum number of requotes or slippage while delivering on a high level security and regulatory standards, simplicity of integration, and superior 24/7, 365 uptime. Boom, ladies and gentlemen, massive. And that is why they're global. They're going to be global. That's why they're so close with the IMF, and the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, is a massive, massive deal, folks. And they have basically every country on board, up to 190 so far they have. And now let's get to this part, this bullish part. I want you guys to see where it all started. Fed Governor Lael Brainard's speech at the Institute of International Finance annual meeting panel on blockchain. Ripple requoted this back in 2016, okay? You gotta listen to this video first before I break down who Lael Brainard is, okay? Listen to this video. This is absolutely massive.
You mentioned the speed of cross-border payments and the opaqueness of that process, and I guess it's also error-prone to some extent with SWIFT. Santander seems to be trying to approach it with a partnership with Ripple. Just curious what your thoughts are on that.
So I do think that of the use cases out there, cross-border is one of the most compelling. We know that intermediation chains cross-border are long and quite opaque, and they're slow, and they can be quite costly. So my sense is that technology with the appropriate safeguards could make a material impact, and likely will, and it may well be through a partnership model. I don't want to pronounce on any particular approach, but there are a variety of partnerships out there that are trying to innovate and to reduce frictions and increase transparency for those cross-border transactions. In my sense, I'm fairly optimistic that there are some good solutions out there that don't necessitate a global stable coin.
They already know what's coming down the pipelines, okay? Shout out to Crypto.Darren for that video. And it just blows my mind how way back we go, okay? Like, this is long in the making, folks. Long in the making. And listen to this 2016 speech and look where we are today. Reading this in 2023 is absolutely amazing. In trade finance, where document-intensive processes are not fully automated, distributed ledger technology may be able to reduce significant costs and speed up processing associated with issuing and tracking letters of credit and associated documents, okay? Regardless of the application, much of the industry is at a proof of concept stage of development. These proof of concepts are often simple, experimental uses of the technology on a small scale that help stakeholders understand the potential and limitations of the technology for specific purpose, which in turn typically lead to refinements and more developed proof of concepts. And now she is at the National Economic Council. She's actually the director of it. President Biden has appointed Lael Brainard as the director of the National Economic Council. NEC has 4 key functions: to coordinate policy making domestic and international economic issues, to give economic policy advice to the president, to ensure that policy decisions and programs are consistent with the president's economic goals, and to monitor implementation of the president's economic policy agenda. And they all know Ripple, folks, at the White House. They all know what the infrastructure is going to be. And Ripple, XRP, the crypto sector is going to be, this wealth transfer, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be by far one of the most devastating one, because people had the opportunity, but they missed out. They missed out. If you missed out back in stocks, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal because we didn't have the internet. We didn't read the newspapers. People didn't afford cable TV. They didn't cover the right, news outlets didn't tell us what to do. But now we have YouTube. We have the people. And we have fudsters. Ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate every single one of you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Enable value to move from. They have basically every country on board. Speech at the Institute of International Friends as the director.
We started building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening. Flip the switch. I think what we're building has, it's solving a real problem. And I think all of the tokens, my advice to anybody would be, understand the utility. If there's real utility and there's real value being delivered to a real customer, there will be value in the token.